That's a pretty super dark beat. I just got my regular stream going from Epidemic, but these beats are like really, you know what I'm saying? Kind of dire. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Let's get to it. Are we ready? I think we are. Here we go. Let's hop in a little ATS. This is 1.40. So when we started the, oh man, how do I even want to say this? I wanted to do 1.40 for ATS yesterday. And I looked online and it looked like it had dropped. I saw a bunch of topics on it, but when I tried to track it down, it hadn't quite released yet. But 1.40 had dropped for ETS, so we went ahead and jumped in there. Did an ETS stream yesterday. And then while I was streaming, I think Ernie told me in stream that 1.40 had dropped for ATS. So as soon as I got done with the ETS stream, I went ahead and fired up ATS, got the beta downloaded, and most of the skins transferred over. In fact, all of them transferred over. So the cabs are basically the same. In fact, we can take a look here. So for something like the Freightliner, the Western Star. So the Western Star now has 3 axles, or 3 axles available, but it's the same day cab. Although the Western Star, they did add, and we can find it right down here, the Western Star did add a sleeper. And they said they would. They said they were going to. So if we go here now, Western Star, I just saw it right here. Western Star, yeah, it does have a sleeper. And we knew it would be there in time. But initially, when they first released the 49X, it only had the, what do you call it? Day cab. So that was added as well. But we did get, so this is a 3-axle that we're in right now. And the Western Star is available as a 3-axle. So I built one of those. That's it right there. That is a very utilitarian truck. 3-axle day cab, that is a mule right there. No doubt. And then we also made a 3-axle Volvo right there. And this does have a lift axle up front. There's a lot of different configs on these. It's not just a 3rd axle. There's different lifts and different drives. And then we also got 2-axle. So we're going to drive this later in the video, but that is definitely like a little American delivery truck, a local delivery truck. We're going to haul a double pup set with it, similar to what UPS uses to get their feeders from, typically from the airport or from the yard where they break down the intermodal stuff. To take it from there to the center, they use a very small truck like this and two 30-foots, call it a double pup. So right now we're in this truck right here. I got done with the delivery. We do have the biggest trailer possible. This is a, let me see, a 9-axle lowboy, one of the ownable lowboys that dropped a few months back. And the first thing we need to do is sleep, because I think, yeah, we definitely need to sleep. So let's drop this and leave it right here. Man, I don't even know what city we're in. I just hopped right in yesterday and started driving as soon as the patch dropped. I did build those trucks. There we go. And we want, let's take a look at the map here and see if we can find a place to sleep. Kingman, Arizona. And there better be. I don't think there is. Yeah, right here is a place to sleep. Do we want to, how far is this? 42 miles. Let's take our trailer with us, man. I don't even know if we have enough sleep to get there.
Let's go.
We may fall asleep before we get there. If we do, we do. If he dies, he dies. So let us pull forward a little bit and then back it up. There we go. Oh man, we are like dozing off. We're so tired. So what else? You know what? Let's do this because it looks fantastic. The new lighting it's unbelievable. Absolute props to SCS for pulling this off. It's amazing. I can't believe what they're doing with this 20-year-old engine. Really impressive.
Get ready to turn right.
Oh, I'm ready to turn right. And we're going to be very careful. We're going to do a little third person with this big trailer. My goal is to not hook anything. This is, I guess, the biggest trailer that you can get in the game now, other than the special cargo trailers. But in terms of what you can own, I think this 9-axle, the lowboy with the Jeep and the Stinger, I think this is the biggest trailer you can get. Yeah, I think we'll make it out of here. And I did notice yesterday when I was using this, I did notice traffic being a little bit more mindful of us when we use the turn signals. So I always use my turn signals. I try to use indicators pretty regularly, but I think in fact, we can put them on right now. We'll try to use the hazards a little bit more. Wouldn't see too many of those in Europe. Yeah. Oh, we're falling asleep again. There's some long low boys that released on ETS. They released the same time as these did, but they're not quite as long. All right, I think we'll make it with the time compression. 15 to 1, so 45 miles is the same as 3 miles. So yeah, hopefully we make it down here before we fall asleep. I did drive this yesterday. I drove it from wherever we picked up, somewhere. I drove it from somewhere to Kingman, St. George, Utah to Kingman, Arizona, and didn't hook anything. So I know it can be done. I just want to be super, super careful and go super slow. And then after we get this first cargo delivered with the great big trailer, we'll hop in the little 2-axle Mac and put that double pup set on and do like we're doing some local deliveries. So yeah, I could not be more pleased with this DLC. Ernie, what's happening? How you doing? Couldn't be happier with this. With all these lights going, with beacons on and everything else. In fact, we got a straight stretch of road here. This is just amazing. Now, I think there's going to be a little bit of tuning and a little bit of adjusting, because they just dropped this not too long ago, 24 hours, 36 hours. So I do think there's going to be a little bit of tuning. Whoops. Hang on, there we go. I just want to turn the dips on. I don't want to turn them off. So I think we'll see some improvements in this over the next week or so. And that's the whole point of a beta. Man, people are funny. I love the internet. I love how silly it makes people. I saw in the thread, somebody mention some problems that they were having with the 1.40 beta. And they got absolutely lit up in the forum. And they were like, man, why don't you calm the F down? Isn't that the whole point of a beta? Is that people can offer feedback on it so it can be improved? I'm not saying your favorite game sucks. I'm saying this beta might need a little bit of work on it. So people are funny, man, the way they overreact. But I've got no complaints about it so far, and I'm hoping that we'll see some fix to the FPS problems that we've been having in, I would say it's been the newer areas. I know. Can't get my thumb off the stick to turn the brights off. I'm hoping that we'll see a fix to some of the FPS problems we've been getting in the most recent states. All right, now was this on the left, on the right? Man, I don't want to turn this thing around. If we go, I guess we can just go in here. Okay. Can we? Oh God, this is probably not smart. Can't even see the driveway. There it is. Yeah, the game feels really crisp and no complaints as far as frame rate, stutter, lag, nothing. No problems whatsoever. I did notice some FPS drop off in some of the cities in ETS yesterday, and maybe just the tiniest bit in ATS yesterday, but not terribly. And we're gonna be kind of an a-hole truck driver here. So what I'm gonna do is get this whole thing off the road, and then we're just gonna drop this right here. If I can pull forward far enough to get the whole thing off the road, I think that's good right there. Oh, that's gonna be a little bit rough though, trying to get it around that rock when we leave. All right, well, we'll see if things are any better in the morning. So we'll unhook now. See if things are any better in the morning as far as visibility. And now we're going to flip a big 180 here, and we'll get fuel after we sleep tomorrow. We'll get fuel because we're a little too tired to do it tonight. And I'm definitely feeling like adding the third axle impacts our turning circle negatively. It increases the turn radius of the truck. And I don't mind that. You know, it's just another challenge to overcome. Yes, all right. I'm pulling in right now. Golly. Where is our sleeping area? Is it just this hotel back here? rest area? Oh, it's right there. Okay. You know what? How about right here? It's sort of out of everybody's way. There we go. Neutral. Parking lights on. Set the brake. Windows down. Beautiful Arizona evening. Engine off. Let's get some sleep. All right. Beautiful. So now we want a job. And where do we want to go with this thing? Cargo market. Have we not discovered Kingman yet? I guess not. All right. So let's get hooked up. We'll drive into Kingman. Get that on the map, and then we can find a cargo. Brakes off. I've wanted them to add this truck for a long time. I did like having the third axle in the Viper 389. I was curious if they would ever add this to base game. And the thing is, I don't know if the Viper is ever going to be updated for I think 1.38 was the last update, unless he handed it off to another modder. But if the Viper doesn't come forward, right, like if it's just sort of an abandoned mod, then this would really be, well, no, I can't say the only way, because I know there's some other mods for like the 389 and the 567. I think there's like a 385? Oh. But I know there are some other 3-axle American trucks. 3 axles in the back, so 4 total. But if I can continue to move away from mods, you know what I'm saying? The happier I'll be. Simplify my life. And we want to be a bit this way. Maybe. There we go. All right, so we'll get that hooked up. And now where are we going? We're going out here and left. Yep, we haven't discovered Kingman yet. Okay, so let's try to get over here. I have a feeling, like we can reset this. I have a feeling there's nothing going out of Kingman. If that's the case, we'll just drive to, I don't know, somewhere. All right, third person, here we go. Can we make it around this rock? Turn these on, turn these on. Continue to see if that makes any difference. It seems like it does. It seems like you get just a little bit more accommodation from the AI.
Turn left.
With turn signals, beacons, and indicators. But I could just be imagining that. Wow, this lighting looks so good. Yep, no problem to get around there. Here we go. Get some windows up. So really pleased that they added this truck. I think it looks great with the big trailer, the big lowboy. It's certainly very a very, I don't know, accurate representation of what you'd see. And it's just fun to make, well, yeah, I guess it would have to be. This is like the biggest, longest truck that you can drive. The triple might be longer, but I feel like this is trickier to drive. So hopefully we can get where we're going with no drama. Left lane closed ahead. All right. Let's see what this is all about. And I think for now, let's go ahead and turn these hazards off. There's no traffic around, and that clicking is You know what I'm saying? Not a fan. All right. And what else is going on? I've seen the reviews for the UK high speed that dropped for Train Sim World yesterday. Not good. Not good. So I'm really glad I didn't buy that. And apparently the sound is the biggest problem. I don't know that I even would have noticed that. I don't know what that train sounds like in real life. But there we go. Now we got Kingman discovered, so we can try to get a cargo out of here. But as much as people love a company like SCS, I feel like the people that are into Train Sim World really don't like Dovetail. It is exactly like 180 degrees different from the way gamers and fans and consumers seem to feel about SCS is the way they feel about Dovetail. People just don't like that company. I don't like them. And to see the reviews on that product, I feel like they're just, I don't know, cranking out DLC for money. And one of the comments that I read was when they released the footage of the console version, they included some note that was like, hey, this is just the pre-release, you know, this is the console, this is not the final product, etc. And then when it was released, it was exactly the final product. So I know it's tough to run a business, I know it's tough to make money, but I feel like Dovetail is doing it wrong. All right, so if we, I guess we could just do a little hand wave here. Yeah, let's do that. We're just going to stop right here. I'm looking at the different businesses in Kingman. There may be one, like we may be able to get a cargo, but it would be, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't go directly out of Kingman. Ooh, interesting. All right, so this is going to, that's going to the Dales. What's the heaviest? This is the heaviest. This is going to Albuquerque. That's a reasonable trip. 500 miles, 118,000 pounds. That would put us at like 165 total. Yeah, let's haul this thing. And we got 3 hours and 2 minutes to get there. And it looks like we pick up right in town. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go, says the sat nav. And man, I still cannot figure out, when you start a new profile in this game, I cannot figure out why there's not a tick box that says, do you want to carry over all your settings? Because you need to reset everything. Now there is a way to do it where you go in and grab some of your config files from any other save game and just copy them over into your new save game. But it's still, there's a lot of stuff, like it doesn't bring the clock in. You have to reset the 24-hour clock. You have to reset like the sat nav, what voice you want it to use. It seems like it wouldn't be that big a deal, because essentially all you're doing is copying one file from an old profile and pasting it into a new profile. But rather than you doing that manually, it would seem like the game could do that. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't seem like super complex coding. But it is not part of the game. So every time you start, or every time I start, my first trip in my new profile that I just created, I have to do like mouse and keyboard. And sometimes it'll be right across the street, like literally just a mile or two. And then you can, once you finish that delivery, right, yeah, already knows. Once you finish that delivery, then you can save the game. Then you can do that copy and paste over and bring your profile, bring your config stuff in from the last good profile that you had. But sometimes that first delivery will be like 100+ miles. You got to drive 100 miles, mouse and keyboard. What? So it is a bit of a mystery. I don't know if there's a specific reason why they do that, but and for any fanboy who say, well, maybe a person doesn't want that profile, fine then, just make it an option. Would you like to use the settings from the last profile that you had running? Yes, I would. But eventually I did get everything configured over on both ETS and ATS. I think I'm going to keep both these profiles. I was debating, right, we'll wait till 1.40 is in full retail, and then we'll go back to our other profiles, but there's no reason to. Okay, so don't turn into the diesel yard. Turn in here. Okay. So I need them to pull out. Yep. And then if there's nobody behind them, just this cop. I need them. Yeah, that's some nice courtesy. Thank you very much. So I did get everything configured over, and I'm just absolutely amazed at this. I'm mostly amazed that, in fact, I'm going to confirm here before we hop in here. I'm going to confirm because I think I did back the scaling down, but then I moved it back up. Let me take a look here. Graphics. Yeah, we're back to 400%. Okay, we do have just to compare. Let's set this to medium because I've heard the SSAO can really tear things up a little bit. So we were at 60 FPS. Let's see how we're doing when we switch from low to medium. Still at 60. Okay, I'll take it. But that's the main thing, is that to go with a whole new lighting system that looks amazing, and for there to be no, at least that I've seen on my system, for there to be no performance penalty whatsoever. That is serious coding. Well done. All right, so we'll stop right here. And this one typically spawns right in front of us. There's that Jersey barrier at about, it's, I don't know, between 11 and 12 o'clock. So typically this job spawns right in between those two, and it's really difficult for me to get in there. So we'll give it a try. And if we can't get in there to pick it up, then we'll just do a skip loading. Yep, that's exactly where it puts it. Okay. So we'll go third person. And, oh dear. Oh, it's over there. Okay. I was worried we were going to get hit by a train. Yeah, same, Ernie. Absolutely surprised. And I don't know if, you know, and again, because of COVID and everything else that's been going on, all the craziness in the world, I don't know if they maybe took some of the optimization that they knew they needed to do, mostly on ATS, but a little bit on ETS as well. Maybe they took some of the optimization and sort of bundled it into 1.40. Right? So rather than making significant improvements to the frame rate as a hot patch for 1.39 and then rewriting the lighting for 1.40, just put it all in one patch. I don't know. I'm speculating. But we'll see if we get into trees at all. If we get into forests, we'll see if it feels any better than it did in 1.39. And of course, keep in mind, this is the beta, so it could get faster still. All right, so we did make it into the trigger. Set the brake, windows down. All right, engine off. Let's get loaded up here. All right, 3 in the afternoon, so we may drive a little bit at night. It may work out that way.
Ready to roll.
There we go, engine on, brakes off. Let's get up out of here. Let's take a look at this thing too. And what's our... No, I want to be surprised. Let's wait till we get to a scale and we'll see what our gross weight is. I say we got to be over 150,000 pounds. And I did look up, I was really curious what... So I knew that the Jeep up front sort of helped everything track, or I thought it did. But I couldn't figure out what the Stinger did. Because it seems like... So when we look at this Stinger, it seems like it's not bearing any weight, right? So what's it for? What's the whole point of the Stinger on the back? Carmine, what's happening? And what I found was, in fact, I'll stop at the stop sign, see if I can pivot back there, get the camera in the right place. What I found was this rigid joint right here between the Stinger and like the back of the load carrier. That joint is robust enough that it actually transfers weight onto the wheels of the Stinger. So the Stinger's not just riding on the back with flags on it. It's bearing weight on the axles as well. Yes, very oversized. Very oversized. We're going to see how this goes. We're taking it to Albuquerque. But this isn't, it's not heavy cargo or special transport. This is just an owned trailer that we're hauling with one of the new 4-axle trucks. So we won't have the pilot cars. I could use the pilot cars for something this big. But I don't think they're... I think the pilot cars get unique AI, and that's why the trips are, I don't know, call it 20 minutes, half an hour. You can't haul oversized from one side of the map to the other. Parrot Gaming, how you doing? How's your Friday? Yeah, see that stopping way back there? I'm feeling like that's got to do with the beacons. It'd be great if it did. I've heard that for the longest time, but I never really had a way to sort of confirm it. But seeing them stop all the way back there, I don't know. I'll call that proof. All right. Truck sounds great. Windows up. And we'll be on our way from Kingman. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with this patch. I can't believe that. I just can't believe SCS does this. This is all free. If you own the game, you get all this for free. And if you don't own the game, you can buy it right now for $5.
Stay right, and then turn right.
How do you go live? I don't know, man. I just got an Xsplit license and started live streaming. I think you need 1,000 subs for Smart Chat and to be able to sell subscriptions and merch and stuff like that. But you can live stream with 1 sub if you want. All right, and this is always, we're going to need to mount the curb just a little bit here because this will hook around on the right side. Yep, we made it. Oh, feel the weight. Feel the weight. Mm-hmm. This is very heavy. Beautiful. Man, I was really enjoying driving that little tandem rig yesterday with the 2-axle truck. Yep. It looks like traffic back there. Normally, that traffic would, like, zip up beside us. You have 70 subs and you can't stream? I don't know. Could be, are you under 18? Is that something that's disabled on your account? I think I've had the option to stream from day one, but don't quote me on that. I've been wrong before. Yeah. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, if you don't have a credit card approved account. Unknown. I would say take a look either in the YouTube FAQ or Reddit maybe. I don't know, something like that. All right, and we are rolling. I got you, Carmen. No worries. All right. So we will roll this thing into Albuquerque, swap trailers, swap trucks, and be on our way. And what else is going on? I was rallying this morning, of all things. I haven't been racing enough. I've been spending a lot of time flying and a lot of time... Yeah, I sympathize, Carmine. Yeah. Spelling is not my strong suit. What's going on up here? I've been... Oh, damn it. I've been flying a lot. I've been spending some time in the trucks. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. But I have not been racing enough. And I always feel bad because I do love racing sims. And WRC8, I don't know, it's somewhere between a racing sim and a racing game. But I always feel bad when I don't spend enough time in a title. I feel like I need to divide my time absolutely evenly between all my sims. And it never works out that way. So I think the next best thing is just play what you feel like at any given moment. And if you realize you're really missing a certain sub or a certain sim, if you're missing a certain sim or a certain game, just play it, hop in it. So I haven't been rallying a lot lately. I haven't been racing, so I rallied a little bit this morning. I have a career going in WRC 8. And I did Rally Argentina, which is a nightmare. Oh, man. And the first, I did El Condor, and then the other one is, it's El Condor, but like there's a part added to the front and then a part added to the end. So the center of it is the El Condor stage, but then it's like twice as long because it has the additional mileage on the front and back of it. So it was El Condor, and then the next one was like El Condor Plus, and both of them were at night in the rain. It's just an absolute nightmare. I do not like Argentina. And then that was followed by Germany, which I do like, but because it's so much pavement, it's just unbelievably fast. Like it's like Corsica. You just have to go so fast. Jaden, what's happening? You got to go so fast in Germany, and it's, I don't know, man. It gets a little, like if I'm in the right headspace, you get that flow, you know, where you're driving way over your head, but it's okay, and you just kind of flow through it. As long as the spell doesn't get broken, you're fine. But if like anything happens, if your phone beeps, if, I don't know, like if somebody starts a leaf blower outside, the wheels come off completely. But I got through it, and I did win Germany, so I'm first place in points by about 10 points. How fast? How fast what? How fast rally? I would say very fast. I'm up to WRC2 Pro. So the only class I have left is, if I win WRC2 Pro, then I'll go to WRC, like the top tier, the top split. And we'll see how that works out. So I'm doing all right, as long as I focus. And I did, it's a different kind of game, because it's got that, is the car in Germany? The rally that I did was in Germany. Right now we are in Arizona. Yeah, exactly. As fast as possible. But WRC 8 has that management aspect, so you do need to, as you get XP, you can assign it to different parts of your team. Whether you want the car to be fast or reliable, you can focus on handling, you can focus on acceleration, right? Longevity, you can build your team out and hire different staff. And that really does determine how well you finish. So it's a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm not too keen on that. Some racing sims, something like R Factor or iRacing, you just drive the car. You don't need to worry about hiring people and covering payroll and some of the other stuff. And when it's built into a game in a way that if you neglect that stuff, you don't do well, that's always... How fast is the car in Germany? I mean, it's rally, so it's not... I would say you top out at probably on a pavement stage, you might top out at 120 miles an hour, which is not terribly fast for a race car, but then you'll have like multiple hairpin turns on gravel in that same stage. So I'd say average speed probably 70 or 80 miles per hour. But the thing about being on gravel is it's like being in a boat. You could go 30 miles an hour in a boat, you feel like you're going 100. It's just something about it. So I feel like being on gravel, being in the trees, those tight little twisty roads, you might not be going 180 like an F1 car, but it certainly seems fast. And I have a lot more crashes, obviously. I have a lot more crashes in rally than I do in like F1, because it's just so narrow. Yeah, exactly. Somebody told me that when I was a kid, and I've realized that it is very true in life. If you're in a boat or a convertible, you can just add like 30 or 40 miles per hour to whatever speed you're going as far as how fast it feels. Go 30 in a convertible, it feels like you're going 90. So, and then as soon as I'm done with this, I need to hop back in X-Plane. I'm going to fly from Brussels to Vienna again, and then start my weekend. So it's been a really, really good gaming week. I feel like I dodged a bullet on that Train Sim World 2 DLC, and I guess, I mean, all right. Thanks for stopping by, Carmine. I think I might be done with Train Sim World 2 because it's sounding like you can't really trust any of the DLC. The last few DLC that have dropped have been, I didn't buy any of them, but the people that did buy them were really disappointed. So I think Train Sim World 2 as a concept may be sort of, you know what I'm saying? Past tense. And I'm not really playing it, and it's tying up a lot of hard drive space, so I'm thinking I may uninstall it. You can always reinstall it later. But I'm thinking I may uninstall Train Sim World 2. And I'm considering reinstalling Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I've heard it's still not done yet. Still needs another few months. And as always, you know, great for VFR, great for low-level flight in like a propeller aircraft, but not so good for airliners. And all I'm flying right now are airliners. So unknown. And I need to get back into Hunter Call of the Wild. Man, I played the hell out of that game after I got all the DLC, and then I just sort of stepped away from it. It's possible I burned myself out on it. But I do have 4 entire maps to explore. 4 maps I haven't spent any time on at all. Spain, Germany, Russia, and Africa. So I might hop back in Hunter Call of the Wild. I need to get past that, man. I got that OCD thing where I feel like I need to play all my games an equal amount of time. Right? Like I try not to binge games. It never works out that way, and I always do end up binging them, but I guess I need to come to terms with the fact that that's okay. Love the Africa map. Well, let's slide over here to the right just a little bit. I'm looking in the rearview mirror. The rearview mirrors are amazing now. I don't know how they did it, but the lighting has made the mirrors better. They're amazing. I want the Africa map because I want lion. I want to harvest a lion. So I need to hop in there. And what else? And then that Resident Evil stuff just dropped for Division 2, so I've been hopping on there a little bit in the evening just to get the Resident Evil swag that I don't even want. That's the evil of Division 2 and that dopamine loot loop that it puts you in. I don't even want the stuff. I just want to gather it like a hunter-gatherer. It's amazing. I mean, give Ubisoft credit for that. They have absolutely perfected the loot loop for games that are not straight up like swords and sorcery RPG titles. I mean, Destiny 2 is pretty strong on loot, but I think Ubisoft, all their titles, it's just all you do is grind for loot. Do you even enjoy this game? Man, I don't even realize I'm playing a game. I'm just grinding for loot. I could care less about the game. And I don't follow any of the lore for Division 2. I have no idea who the people are. Every time they drop a title update or another season, there's like all these developments. You know, so-and-so is a traitor, and this person isn't really dead. And I'm like, I don't even know who these people are. I have no idea what you're talking about. Anything that turns red, when I hover my mouse over it, I just try to kill it. I have no idea who I just know they're bad. And that's as far as I go. And that's it. Yeah, hang on, let me go third person here. Oh, bad. I hope I don't wreck the truck when I go third person. It's massive, Jaden. This thing is ridiculous. Hang on. This looks pretty straight up here. Hang on. We're going third person. Here we go. This thing. Blimey. And we haven't come to a scale yet, but I think we're either at or over 150,000 pounds. So between the new chassis and the new chassis, what's the plural of chassis? Chassis? I don't know. between the new trucks that are available and the lighting, I couldn't be happier with this franchise. And when I was saying earlier about profiles, that let's just keep these, you know, no need to try to save those other profiles, because these are completely clean. I think this is the fewest mods I've ever launched a save game with. So theoretically, they'll stay the cleanest. Exactly. We're way oversized. Oh, look at the sunset. Nice soft lighting. Everything's got that haze to it. Beautiful. So I'm debating not running anything but skins and maybe a few lights. Enjoying the single axle. Yep, that's the first one that I drove, is that little Mac 2-axle. That's the first one I built, and I drove it with those two 28-foot trailers, and I really, really liked it. And I mean, it could be confirmation bias. I could just be imagining it. Placebo effect. I don't know. But I feel like I notice a difference in handling from the 2-axle to the 3-axle to the 4-axle. All right, and we're still at 60 FPS, and I'm going to turn my lights on here, and let's see what kind of drop we get. So we've still got sunlight. Lights on, 0 drop. We stayed exactly at 60. All right. I think the game looks amazing. And the new content they brought in, that's what I was saying. I think we may just run skins and maybe a couple of lights. I will go somewhere now. All right. All right, thanks for stopping by, Jade. I appreciate you. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that, because I've already uninstalled all the drivetrain revision. I don't feel the need for those anymore. The trucks feel fine as far as physics and performance. I think the trucks feel fine without drivetrain revision, so I'm no longer running those. With Fmod, and I don't know if they're doing new sound recordings or just reprocessing the original sound recordings that they have, but the trucks sound amazing. In fairness, not as good as some of the aftermarket engine packs, but some of the aftermarket engine packs are really kind of broken and tinny. You know, you can hear the engines kind of stepping up between the different sound files, like, and it's got a really artificial feel to it. And with the base game sounds, I don't notice any of that. So not running any sound packs now, not running any aftermarket trucks on ETS or ATS. So all that's really left are the Sissel trailer packs. Probably keep those. And the Sissel cabin accessories, probably keep those. But I don't even think I'll run the Ikari trailers anymore, because we've now got doubles, B doubles, HCT doubles, and B double sliders in ETS, and we've got these lowboy trailers on ATS. So I feel like there's enough variety in the trailers that you can buy that I don't even need the Ikari trailers anymore. So that just leaves the Sissel stuff and maybe a few light packs in ETS, and that's it. And those light packs, I got to be super, super careful with them, because as I understand it, if you bring in something that breaks the lighting in 1.40, even after you uninstall it, the lighting stays broken. Here we go. Let's find out what this thing weighs. So I do have some lights from the Mod Workshop that I like, but I've also got some I don't know, other, right? And honestly, some of those I downloaded from a dodgy mod site. And now some of them I got from the developer's SCS Soft blog page. So I assume that those are legit. Get them from Share Mods or wherever. But I feel like if you stick with workshop mods, you're just that much safer, you know? So it's possible I'm not going to be running really a whole lot in the way of mods for ATS or ETS from here on out. I say 150,000 or more. 173,000 pounds. That's a lot of pounds. So just continuing to simplify my life. You know, we've got a lot less mods running in 19. I had a bunch of content in X-Plane, right? Discovered you could mod X-Plane heavily and just went crazy, as I do. And I've uninstalled most of that now. So I think I'm post-mod now. You know, maybe not entirely. A few here and there, but definitely less than I used to have in the past. Carefully out through here. Done. All right. Gallup. So we are in New Mexico, and Albuquerque's kind of center of the state, so I think we may not have too far to go. So what we'll do is I bought some garages scattered around the map. So we'll pick a city we want to leave from. We'll hop in the little 2-axle Mac and teleport there, send the trailers up, hook everything up, find a cargo, and then haul it. Yeah, I think so too, Ernie. And you know, I don't know if it's the games that are different, the mods that are different. I'm different as a player. The community's different. All of the above, you know, the various combination, unknown. But I just know it feels different now than it did a few years ago. It felt like a few years ago you could run a lot of mods and everything just sort of worked better, and also the game sort of needed those mods. And it seems like the past 6 months or so, 12 months, games haven't needed as many mods, and the mods that I have run, it's like they haven't worked as well. It just seemed more often than not to be more trouble than it was worth. What's the highway doing up here? Where are we going? All right, we're kind of curving to the left. And again, that could just be confirmation bias. That could just be, I don't know, something. Look at this fog. Love it. That could just be, you know, I think I'm thinking something, but I'm not really thinking it. I don't know. But it seems that way. And so I'm enjoying games more lately when I have less mods running. Even just the fact that they run smoother, I think is worth something. And man, I'm really curious to see what happens as we move forward. And the past month or so, I've been sort of reflecting on this idea that these next-gen consoles, I think, are going to take away a big advantage that PC used to have over console, which was you could absolutely jack your PC specs and make games look unbelievable in ways that console couldn't quite get there. I mean, PS4 and the 1X could get pretty close, but a massive liquid-cooled PC, I feel like it still had the advantage in terms of graphics quality over consoles, but I think that's gone now. I think these next-gen consoles, these will be the ones that at any given moment they can make a game look as good as PC. Hang on, trying to read and drive here. Yeah, Ernie, I feel exactly the same way. Exactly. The quality and the variety that Giants is dropping now, I feel like there are a lot of mods that I can pull out of my mod folder and just make my life simple. And it is a trade-off. You know, you're giving up this to get that. And that may not quite be as good as this, but you do get that stability and that reliability. And that's worth a lot. And I think we're about to move into an era where, so in the past, I mean, there are a few titles that are PC only, but I think we're going to see fewer and fewer of those because the money is in console. And I think these new consoles are going to make games look as good as PC, and that's going to help sales. I think it's going to pull people from the PC side to the console side. But I think moving forward, most developers are going to focus on the console market first. If not exclusively, then at the very least, they're going to focus on it first. So in the past, I think we've had a split where some games were PC games that were ported to console, some games were console games that were ported to PC. I think in the future, most games are going to be built for console, and then we'll get a PC port if we're lucky. So I don't know how that's all going to shake out. And there will always be PC-specific games, I think, for Sim especially. And so in that way, I consider myself lucky because I am primarily into Sim gaming. So I think there will always be a lot of Sim titles that are PC-specific or PC only. But as we continue to evolve, I think the model is going to be make a console game, port it to PC if you think it's even worth it. And it may not be. You know, it could be that as these new consoles sell, developers and publishers are going to realize, yeah, it's not worth it. Now, if that happens, then PC is going to become exclusively the domain of, like, well, probably hardcore Sim games. And everything else is going to be on console, looking just as good and being just as playable as if it was on PC or PC on console. So it's always an evolution. Oh, here we go. We may not be in Albuquerque, but I just saw a sign for Albuquerque. And I'll tell you what, if we can get this thing to the yard without hitting anything, without taking any tickets, I will consider myself lucky, and I will be happy to be rid of it. It's fun, you know, but it is a little bit nerve-wracking because I feel like anytime I haul this 9-axle trailer, I'm like a ticking time bomb. All right, let's get slowed down here. I think one way you can deal with traffic is just to straddle the center line, and so then nobody will try to pass you because they don't quite have room. And I don't know if that's what you would do in real life. And that's, I mean, I know I bring some misery on myself by trying to play these video games as though they were real, right? Like, what would I do in real life? Well, it doesn't matter what you would do in real life because it's a video game with busted AI. But I'm still tempted to, I guess, try to do what you would do in real life. Yeah, I hear you, Ernie. I think about getting a console a lot because I really want that lean-back gaming experience. I just don't have that anymore. Even when I play what I think of as lean-back titles, when I'm sitting at my desk, I still play them like a PC gamer. I still play them as like lean forward, elbows on the desk PC games. And I'm really looking for those like sit on the sofa, lean back, put your feet up, wireless controller, glass of wine, you know, proper lean back gaming experience. And I haven't had that for a long, long time. All right, there's Albuquerque. I think if I got a console, it would be Xbox for Forza. But I don't know, man. Forza is one of those things. Forza is like, I feel like Forza is, it's like, I don't know if you've ever been to Goa. You got to go to Goa. Well, I went to Goa. I wish I wouldn't have gone to Goa. It's that sort of thing. So, as much as I think, uh-oh. Here's our detour.
Stay right.
As much as I think I would like to get Forza on Xbox, I have so many great sim racing titles. I feel like if I played Forza, worst case scenario, I wouldn't even enjoy it. Best case scenario is I enjoy it, but it sort of messes me up for sim racing, right? I mean, I've heard of pro sim racers. They'll only drive their rig and they'll only drive one car. They won't even get into another car because it can throw them off. Now, admittedly, they do it for money, but you know what I mean? It kind of wrecks you. So I don't know if I would experience that if I got on Forza. So we want to... how do we want to do this? We got to make a left here.
Stay left, then turn left.
Alright, so we got plenty of room here. Yeah, I'm gonna sort of wiggle waggle this thing back and forth so it spreads itself across both lanes and nobody tries to jump up here on our left. Get down to a good gear. Here we go. Man, this thing's got some weight to it. Wow. Even just, I mean, we were very nearly at the top of that ramp. And it's still, yeah, you can, I don't know if you saw in the mirror there just as we were making the turn, but there was a truck coming up on our left.
Stay left, then turn left.
I gotta duck my head down here so I can see the light under the visor. Alright, so we got traffic over there. No traffic over there. I think the cast lighting, like the way this, if you look to the left here, the way that those lights are lighting up the pavement like that, I think that may be a little over the top. But no complaints. God, this is so crisp. I don't know how they're doing this. I feel like the game is more crisp and more, I don't know, fast with the new lighting than it was with the old lighting. How's that even possible? Love you some God of War. Yep, that's how I found the Rad Brad, is watching his playthrough of God of War. Feeling like we're getting a little bit of chug right through here. Not terrible. Damn it! Now we're in the loop. Alright, we need to... yep, I had a feeling I should have checked that. So we want to be here. It's not letting us go through there. So I feel like the crash is like right up in here somewhere. So it's going to divert us up this way, and now we need to go over here. And that adds... Are you kidding me? 518 miles? Hang on, is there a way to do this? 465 miles. I mean, that's better. How many hours do we have to get this delivered? 8 hours, 39 minutes.
Let's do this.
Hang on, let's take a look here carefully. Make a long arm. Oh, we want... No, not that one. Damn it! This is all different now. This one. 18 hours. Next rest stop in 3 hours.
Stay right.
Stay right. Alright. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to do this. I would... Well, that's on me. As soon as I saw that detour, I should have just taken a look at the map. But depending on where the detour is, you can end up in that loop sometimes where it keeps sending you back to the same interchange, but it's like all four corners of it are blocked off, so you'll never be able to get through it. And it just keeps running you around in circles. My own fault. Luckily, small trailer. Yeah, you know, when I'm not streaming, I do that. But ultimately, it's all trucking, you know, and that's, like, if I slid past the detour, oh shit, I just realized we're out of fuel too, son of a... If we snuck past the detour, all that would happen is we'd make our delivery, hop into another truck, and then we'd still just be driving a truck. So it's like, what's the difference? And I have to remind myself of that constantly. I do the same thing when I'm farming. right? Oh, I got to do something twice. Can't believe I have to farm in this farm sim now. Damn it, man. But it all works out. I'm just so pleased with the way these two sims look, ETS and ATS, with 1.40. What a nice surprise. And it's not even done yet. You know, they're going to tweak it and tune it over the next few weeks. Still haven't seen a date for Iberia or Wyoming. But I think that'll, probably in the next couple weeks, they'll announce everything. Sir. All right. I mean, that wasn't bad. That was some good merging. We need fuel. We didn't get the arrow yet. Not the arrow, the blink, the indicator. We didn't get the warning yet. But we're pretty low. So I think we need to, as quickly as possible, get this topped off. Oh, you know what? When we started the stream, I was going to sleep and then get fuel, and all I did was sleep. So we may have enough on board. If we can get to a straight piece of road here, I'll try to get over to the other information menu and see how much fuel we have left in the tank. But I'm enjoying driving at night, so no complaints about that either. All right. Carefully stick my arm up here, and it looks like we're coming to some 310 miles. Whoa, careful. Ah! I've got the trailer stability and truck stability and everything turned down super, super low. And this is Sky City. I mean, we got to get fuel. We really don't have a choice. We got to get fuel. Big trailer or no, we got to get fuel. So we'll just need to sort this out. Mount the curb just a little bit.
Stay right, then turn right.
Stay right, turn right. All right.
Turn right.
What? Did I hit something on the left, or did something hit us on the right? Because I don't know if you saw that car sneak past. Yeah, I think I hit a pole on the left. But that white, it looks like a Charger or something. Tried to sneak past us as we were going around that bend. I mean, it's a video game. It's not perfect. But I think in real life, well, I'm guessing there are people in the world that would try something like that, but I feel like that's not quite a realistic part of the game. All right. He's going to give us a little bit of room. Beautiful. And then we need to get past there without hooking that. And then where are the pump islands? You know, Ernie, I saw a couple people mention it, and I'm not like offended by this or anything, but I'll see people in stream mention it, and then I'll never hear anything. That's why my policy has been, you know, if you want to talk about it on Discord, let's have that conversation. But as far as, you know, making any kind of like a unilateral frame rate is good, but we're getting really chuggy right through here. All right, that doesn't go all the way around. We're gonna have to just go up over this curb. I'm certainly not opposed to doing it, but I feel like, you know, people mention it, they talk about it, and then I never hear from them again. So if we can, I'm happy to do it if enough people are interested. But so far, it's been a lot of kind of one-off comments. Not a big deal. Like I said, I'm not offended by it, not bothered by it. And then we'll try to hook this around and just pull it straight through here. And we can probably kill those two. All right, so there's neutral. Jesus, there's neutral. Brake, lights, windows. Engine is off, let's full up. And, you know, let's go ahead and sleep now, right? We've got a full blue bed, so we know we need to sleep. We're at a rest stop. We've already gone through the hassle of getting down here, so let's go ahead and sleep now. Because this always happens. I try to, like, push through, right? And 10 minutes from now, we'll get the warning that we're falling asleep. So let's just do it while we're here. Right. Yeah, really kind of chuggy through here. I don't know if it's the lighting or the textures and assets. But quite a bit of chug. Frame rate is good, but just sort of not smooth. Looks great, though. Hey, Fried, how you doing? Yeah, I think the game looks fantastic right now. The render and the new lighting it really is amazing. But we are getting a little bit of chug and stutter. All right, so I don't know exactly where the triggers are. Some of these sleep locations, the triggers seem pretty generous, and you can fit like a giant truck into them. And others, it's a lot more specific, right? Like you've got to have just the truck or just the truck and one small trailer in a very specific trigger. So let's come up here. Unhook this and see how we do. And of course, nothing. Where's the trigger? I mean, it says we're in it. It says there's another one over there. Well, we're already unhooked. Let me loop around here and see if it's behind us now. It's sort of beside us. All right, well, let's do this then. Let's pull in next to our own trailer and see if it honors the trigger there. So we're at least, I don't know, I feel like we're somewhat compact. We got this great big trailer, and now we're unhooked from it and just taking up space. Is it here? I mean, I'm about to just wherever we cross it. Is it here? All right. Mistakes were made, but I think ultimately we'll be okay. Yep, we just got our first yawn, so I think this was the smart play. Windows still down, parking lights on, engine is off. Let's get some sleep. So as we're leaving here now, let's see what we've got as far as how smooth everything is. If it's smooth in the same parking lot with the lights off, then I would say that is a lighting thing rather than density of textures or scenery or assets or something. I mean, it seems to be smooth now. I think maybe it was just a lot of lights being on. Try to get that straightened out. Really? There we go. All right, now to get out of here, so we can go back out the way we came. Yep, I think this is... all right, I mean, when we hop back in here, first person, when we're looking out at everything sort of layered, so you know when you go like this view, there's hardly anything rendering, so of course your frame rate's going to be super fast. But when we go back to this view, it does, frame rate's good, but I can feel it kind of struggling. It just seems different. Beacon's back on, windows up, and we'll continue on our way. We may be late when we get there, but mostly I just want to get there without wrecking the trailer. I think we hit a post coming around that right-hand turn coming down the hill. But I have to say the car that snuck past us on the right had me a bit flustered. I'll be real with you. Hell yeah, man. I haven't needed to have anything done since COVID hit.
Turn left.
But I've always got a couple more in mind at any given moment. I've always got a couple of tattoos in mind that I wouldn't mind getting. All right. And I'm not going to look. I was thinking of trying to see how long we have to get this delivered. But I think with a 450 mile detour, I think it's likely that we're going to be late, but that's okay.
Turn left.
So they're saying turn left. We don't need to expect any traffic from the right, so we can swing this way out. There we go. Yeah. I'm at the point now where I'm looking for little ones to fill in the gaps between the big ones. And I'm just going to run this light because we are coming up kind of a steep hill. Yeah, we'll take the hit. Swing that way out there. Everything clears in the back. Beautiful. And once we get going here, just confirm we have beacons on. There you go. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? All right, beacons are on. Beautiful. My favorite thing is when people say, "Did those hurt?" Yeah, man. Yeah, they all hurt. Some of them hurt a lot more than others. Let me poke you with a needle several million times. See how you feel. Of course it hurts. I need to find somebody to do like a vine of life. My right arm is just about covered. It's not like a sailor sleeve or anything, but I try to get like one tattoo everywhere I live. So my right arm is just about full, and I'd like to get a vine of life starting like on the back of my right hand and just wrapping all the way around, all the way up to my shoulder and maybe up my neck a little bit. Not quite above the collar. I do still like to make money, but just have it done in a way that it would look like it was going over some of my other work, under some of my other work, weaving in and out, you know, just connecting everything. So if it's a proper vine of life, then that would be like, since my right arm is sort of my history, you know, since that's everywhere I've been, if I got a vine of life, hopefully it would tie all that together and be a proper vine of life. If it works out. I gotta find somebody who can pull it off. Yeah. On your calves, yeah. Inside of the arm was really rough. Like up inside your bicep, that was really rough. That was the woman who was doing that one for me asked if I wanted to stop. She started me in the chair and then we moved to a gurney. And she asked me if I wanted to stop, and I was like, no, just finish it, because if you stop now, I will never come back to get this worked on again. I'll never let you finish it. You have to we have to get it done right now, because this is like traumatizing. So it was about another hour before it was completely done. That was the worst one. Back of the wrist when they go over the bone, that's always nice. It like rattles your teeth. Yeah, it's now there have been some where I was just about to fall asleep, some of the stuff on the legs, just kind of zoned out. Yeah, what I'm told is the more contact that skin has with fabric, the less sensitive it is. So if you think of the parts of your body that rub on fabric the most, those are the most desensitized, and so those will hurt the least. But places like your ribs, under your arms, inside of your thighs, where there's very little like direct rubbing of fabric, that'll be the worst. I think I'd agree with that. I've never had anything done on the ribs, but I'm told the ribs are really, really bad. And are we going the right way? I hope we are. I think we are. Oh, you know what? No, I came through Gallup yesterday. That was how we got to Kingman. I went St. George to Kingman yesterday, and we came through Gallup. Yeah, because the other side of the road is highlighted yellow. Okay. I saw Gallup, and I thought we were, like, turned around and going the wrong way. Which I've done in real life. Stop to get gas on the freeway, get back on going the wrong way. Dumb and Dumber. I've been there. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the first probably half dozen, I was definitely like, I can't do this often enough, right? Because they say, them, you know, they say halfway through your first tattoo, you're either already regretting it or planning the next one. And I would say I was one of those people that halfway through my first one, I was planning the next one. So the first half dozen or so was definitely like, oh yeah, all I can get. And then I took a pause, you know, thought about it a little bit and started thinking about like bigger pieces that took more planning, and a lot of them I designed myself. And so it was maybe quality over quantity. And then once I started to run out of, I wouldn't say run out of skin, but like on my left arm, I just have the Lion of Scotland and my family crest, and then my right arm is just about full. But I don't have a big back piece or anything. That's not something I'm interested in at the moment, you know. So it's there's definitely been an arc to it, from when I got my first one to that sort of surge that I went through, and now I'm a lot more selective. One on the top of the head. I mean, I guess the world's a little different now, because I definitely see like cute little college girls with a full sailor sleeve, 18, 19 years old with like a $10,000 arm piece. So it's a different world than it was, 20 years ago. That would have sort of ruled you out of ever having a real job. So it's different now in terms of, how employers feel about tattoos. But I think there's always going to be, depending on what field you want to work in, below the wrist and above the neck, I think is always going to be kind of a red flag for a certain type of HR department. But if you're not worried about money, if you're not worried about work, you do you, man. Yeah, that's the other great thing, is I think a lot of vanilla people really don't understand. Like, I've had people kind of, I don't know. It's like they're ball busting me for what they think I've spent on tattoos. And it's like, man, that's not how tattoos work. I've paid for maybe a quarter of these with actual cash money. The only people that pay for tattoos are like midlife crisis dad that had a heart attack and decided he wanted to get a tattoo, right? Other than that, it's like work trades and working as a mechanic, being in and around motorcycles. You don't pay for tattoos. It's all work trade. There you go, man. Yeah, if that's not an issue for you, have at it. Holbrook. I don't know why we're in Holbrook. I think we're taking the scenic route to Albuquerque. I would prefer not to do that with this trailer on, but what can you do? Oh, that engine brake is amazing. We got the big PACCAR motor in here. Whoa, a little bit fast. And now this guy. Yeah, he stopped a little bit further back. I have to say, I feel like the AI is honoring the beacons. Is ATS more laggy? Other than at that fuel stop, I haven't really noticed any chug at all. And I don't know this for sure yet. They didn't mention it in the patch notes, but I feel like maybe they've done some optimizing on the ATS side. Of the two, ATS is the one that had the most significant FPS drops. No, I want to get near the trees. And I'm thinking we're in Albuquerque. We can just go straight north and try to get into Colorado and see how we do in the trees when we get up there. But I know there were plenty of comments. There were plenty of people noticing the FPS drops in Utah, Idaho, and Colorado. So if they did optimize for this lighting patch, then good on them. But we'll check it out. We'll hop in the little Mac and head up that way. We'll even go through Durango, which I think is the worst part of the map for FPS that I've seen. So we'll hop in that little 2-axle. We'll put on the 228 footers and drive up through Durango. And I did find, it took me forever, but I did find the trigger to discover Durango, because I drove back and forth through there like, I don't know, 6 times, 8 times, and I could not discover the city. You have to come into it from one direction on one specific road.
Stay right.
Yep. I will, let's get this dropped off. We'll swap trucks and then head up that way. I want to check it out too. I do. But I don't know, man. I hate to sound like a fanboy, but I have nothing bad to say about this. And I'm really, really impressed with what SCS is doing. and I will be very relieved to get out of this truck. One thing I can say with these long trailers, it's like X-Plane. The closer I get to a good landing, the more nervous I get, because I feel like it's more time that I have invested, and if something goes completely wrong, then that time is, at least as far as my OCD is concerned, that time is wasted to the point where I want to start the trip again and do it perfectly, even though there's no real penalty, right? Like if you hit a guardrail, if you don't hit it hard enough to do any damage, there's no penalty. Nothing happens. You just continue on your way. But I know I've made a mistake. Easy player. More mods for ATS than ETS. So won't be downloading the beta? Yeah. I think, I'm speculating here. I don't have any inside information. Wow, we really got to slow down. I don't have any inside information here. I'm just speculating. But I'm wondering if some mods can even be fixed to work with this new lighting system. I suspect it's going to require like a significant intervention on the part of the modder to bring some of those mods forward, particularly the lighting mods. So I think there are some mods that I use that I love that are not going to be a part of my 1.40 save game. And it's, I don't know, there's a out of sight, out of mind component here. If I, like the Viper, you know, the Viper was, I had to have the Viper. I was constantly looking for, when the game patched, I was constantly looking for the update to the Viper. And other than that truck, there was nothing else that would work for me, right? Like it had to be the Viper. And I haven't run it for 1.39 and I don't miss it at all. So there's some mods that they seem super, super important, but then I'm able to move past them. Unknown, fried. I mean, if ProMods draws exclusively from in-game assets and lighting, then potentially it could be all right. But if ProMods has any of its own asset libraries or lighting or anything, you know what I mean? If it is not, this is what I've heard, if it is not 100% in compliance with SCS and their new model, then it's not going to work. So we'll wait and see. You know, I don't know. But ProMods is like the Viper, like the RJL Scania. I never played without those mods. But then once I sort of moved beyond them, I forgot about them very quickly. Need to do some more optimization. Oh, ProMods. Yeah, I don't know, man. I saw a ProMods thread where the modders were saying, you know, ProMods is great because it has absolutely no impact on frame rate. And I think, yeah, that's... You're being kind of silly right now. Because it definitely has an impact on frame rate. And if they're looking for some, you know, very specific contrived circumstance, like if you run everything on the absolute lowest settings, right, so you're at 150 FPS, then yes, you will be at 150 FPS with ProMods. But as far as just playing the game with the settings as high as your machine can reasonably have them, I see a massive drop in FPS with ProMods. Yeah, I agree, Ernie. And for them to say otherwise, it's a little bit condescending. Come on now. Man, this crop duster he's getting after it, man. Love it. I think everybody does, Fred. But I tend to think of this game as it's sort of a session game. You know, how long is a session? And I'd say a session for me is an hour or two, maybe 3 if I have plenty of time. And that can be, 3 hours can be probably probably 2 trips in in ETS, that's probably 2 trips of like, I don't know, Scandinavia to Italy or UK to Poland. 3 hours is, you could do 2 hour-and-a-half trips. Or if you want to do a half dozen 30-minute trips or whatever. But as far as the trips that I did when I had Pro Mods, Mother Russia, and the Great Step, when I had all those running at once, when you could drive from like Ireland to Moscow and it would take 3.5 or 4 hours, I don't really do that anymore. So I don't know, as big as the map is now, I don't feel a need to, well, both maps, ATS and ETS, as big as the map is with DLC, I don't feel a need to enhance it. If there are some particular cities that you want to go to, or you really like the scenery to look a certain way, or I don't know, maybe you just have garages in a lot of Pro Mod cities, and if you don't run Pro Mods, you lose those garages. Unknown. Everybody plays the game differently. But for me, I find the base game map with DLC to be more than adequate now. And there was a time when, honestly, it wasn't. It did feel a little restrictive, a little disappointing. Just seeing the same cities and the same roads over and over. But I don't find that to be the case anymore. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be late. Now, we are back in New Mexico, at least, so that's progress. We do have plenty of fuel, so we'll yeah, I think we'll be all right. Yeah, I've heard that about Pro Mods, that it does alter the scenery, and what I'm told is that every region is built by someone from that region, so they're all sort of a labor of love. And I think that really works well, except in Spain. Because apparently whoever built, and I always forget if it's Barcelona or Madrid, but whoever built that city went way over the top. It's too big, it's too detailed, and it's too tight. It's unrealistically tight. It feels spiteful, I guess is the best way to describe it. Every time I was in, I think Barcelona, every time I was in that city, I felt like whoever made it, I could just hear them saying, "Oh yeah? Right? I'll show you." It just seemed really over the top, to the point where I didn't enjoy it. But I think that is because every city is built by someone from that city. Yeah, let me know what you think. It's, I can't even remember off the top of my head. But I think that's the problem when you do have kind of a volunteer organization, a top-heavy organization with a lot of volunteers, is if somebody spends several hundred hours, or I'm told it was 1 full year, 1 full calendar year, somebody spends a year of their life making a city for you for Pro Mods. What are you going to tell them? They did it for free. They did it as a volunteer. What are you going to tell them? Like, no thanks. We don't want it. Well, they do want it. They need it because they got to plug it into their map. But also, are you going to tell that person to go back and do it differently? So you did get it for ETS, but not for ATS? I mean, I think the easiest way to do it, you can roll the game forward and backward, as long as you don't start your save game. So if you've got a 1.39 save game, you roll the game forward to 1.40, start a new save game. Don't touch your 1.39 save game. It's fine. It's completely intact. ATS is just Canada. Okay. So start a new save game for 1.40, but if you want to, you can go in and roll back to 1.39 and fire up your 1.39 save game, and that won't affect your 1.40 save game. And you can roll back and forth between the beta and the full retail and have two profiles for 2 different patches going at the same time. You just have to be very careful not to accidentally start one of them in the wrong version of the game. Yeah, so you can enjoy the 1.40 features without wrecking your 1.39 profile and just wait for 1.40 to go full retail with all the mods patched up, which will hopefully happen at some point. But like I said, some mods, they may not be able to be made current. Time will tell. Man, this is definitely the long way to get to Albuquerque. Let's see how we're doing when we get there, because we're pretty close to 2 hours right now. Oh, is this the SETI facility? It may be. I gotta watch my speed limit signs here. I don't know what they did to the mirrors to make them look so good. I don't know if that's a component of the lighting or what's happening, but the mirrors look amazing now. Still a little bit of pop in the far distance. Honestly, I don't know that needs to be 3D. I think they could maybe, I don't know, just have kind of a modified skybox. So we're in New Mexico right now. So the modified skybox would have some mountains down at the bottom of it at all times. And then when the 3D stuff does pop in, you don't notice it quite as much because it's not popping in front of a pure blue sky. It's popping in front of mountains that are approximately the same color. Maybe just soften that effect a little bit, because it's always been pretty noticeable. The game's got some, you know what I'm saying? Got a little LOD problem. As heavy as this thing is, we've been doing pretty good on power. And I didn't go with the most powerful motor for the truck. I never do that. I always go with the one under it, just so we're not too OP. But this thing is pulling just fine. No problems at all. Try not to get another ticket. I feel like I keep lowering the bar the further we get into this trip. So the first goal was no tickets, no damage, right? Don't hit anything. Well, we hit a post, but we didn't take any damage. We did get a ticket for speeding, and I think we're going to be late as well. Yes, definitely interested in rockets and aerospace.
Go straight.
Go straight? You mean turn left?
Stay left, then turn left.
Is that the one a couple days ago?
Turn left.
Went up, came back, exploded on the landing pad? Yep, I think that was number 9, because they already have number 10 built. They're going to test it in the next couple weeks. Let's go third person here while we have a minute. That's just a tiny little truck. Yep, I did see that. Oh, are you kidding? That was the exact minute when we got the green light. All right, we'll just wait till the next cycle. Sorry about that. Yep, I did see that. Have a little coffee while we're waiting here. Yeah, I can't believe I'm seeing private space flight in my lifetime. So So regular flight, airplanes, that was always private, was it not? Like, that was always driven. There were no like government initiatives to advance flight. Oh well, there were later, the NACA programs and some of the other stuff, but in the like the 19 teens and 1920s, that was all just people doing that, right? People in companies. I guess I've always just associated spaceflight with governments, so it's crazy to see a private company, several private companies, are probably going to get us to Mars. So I was trying to visualize like I don't know, some kind of parallel with the aviation industry or the evolution of aviation. But as far as I know, I'll take a look when I'm done with the stream. As far as I know, aviation was mostly driven by private industry. Caden, what's happening? How you doing? So nervous right now with this great big truck. Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point, and I think SpaceX is doing a lot of business. They may be doing the R&D on their own, but they're definitely getting plenty of money from U.S. government. That guy, I don't know, man. Guy's got some problems, and his business model is not as innovative as it seems at first. I mean, he is making electric cars, and they are pretty amazing, but the company is only profitable because he's selling his cap and trade credits to other car companies that don't have electric car or hybrid programs. Tesla makes like $3 billion a year selling cap and trade. So, yeah, without that, they are not a profitable company. Now, in fairness, that is part of their business model, so it's not, it's not like they're cheating or anything. Neural Inc. Not familiar with it. I'll have to take a look. So we want, we're going to be over here. Neural Inc. Okay. Did we go the right way? Yeah, we did. Okay. It's hard to tell sometimes with the sat nav, but I think we're okay. Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I think that technology will be commonplace within my lifetime. I can see that happening. I mean, they've been making progress. They've been making inroads. I can think since I was a kid, it was very, very basic stuff, but I do think they'll have, sort of fine motor skills and very complex movements. I think they'll have that dialed in my lifetime. And then the next thing after that will be no more spine injuries. Essentially, nobody will be paralyzed anymore. Whether there's a jumper from one side of the spine around the brake, reconnecting everything below the brake, or whether there's some type of an implant above the brake that is controlling robotics, right? Make you a Terminator. But I think, yeah, and again, within my lifetime, I think we'll see there won't be any more people paralyzed. Oh, there you go. Yeah, and I think it takes really innovative thinking to solve problems like that. Because again, your first instinct may be, oh, well, you just you pick up this signal here and you redirect it here, right? But then if you want to get a little bit more innovative, what if we what if we skip the process and just go straight to the goal, right? Rather than your brain telling your hand to pick up a glass of water, what if your brain just says pick up a glass of water and then the software sorts it out? So I'm curious to see that type of I don't know, outside the box. I don't like that phrase. That kind of outside the box thinking used to solve problems. I worked for a client years ago, and his thing was, I'm not going to tell you how to do things. I'm just going to tell you the result I want and the budget that's available to you, and you sort it out. And his take was, that's when he's going to get the best, most innovative results, because people aren't solving the problem the way he told them to. They're just solving the problem. This is your budget, this is your deadline, and this is the result that we need. Now impress me. Get to work. Rather than, the micromanagement style where you're absolutely holding a person's hand through the entire process until you become an extension of them. And because they want you to do things in a very, very specific way, everything that you do is wrong, and they're constantly upset. A lot of chug and stutter right through there. Oh, God. It's vibrating. I think that may be because we're in that gray area where we have the sun up and we have lighting coming from the vehicles. But I think we're just about there. Yeah, I find that to be the most difficult kind of person to work for, because they want you to be an extension of themselves. You can't be, and so they're nothing but upset with you. And ultimately, at some point, we completely lose sight of what the goal was in the first place. Right? The goal becomes following orders rather than, you know what I'm saying, fulfilling the criteria of the mission. But so it goes. There you go. I think the biggest risk you run with micromanagement is if you're constantly telling people that you know a better way to do things, at some point they just say, okay, then do it, and you've lost another employee, you've lost another contractor. Yeah, a lot of chug through here. I don't know if that would go away as the sun completely went down. I know when we were at that fuel stop a while back, the sun was completely down, and I was still seeing it, so a little bit better. Yeah, a lot better now. We're back to 60, and I don't know if that's because the sun is down, not 100%, or if it's because we moved away from all those lights behind us, that intersection back there.
Get ready to turn left.
Yeah, it's if you work for a person who just tells you the result that they want, which is becoming more and more of like a management style, but I find that to be an extremely productive way to work, because you do feel all the pressure, and that's a great way to motivate people, is to challenge them and, I don't know, show me the best way that you can do this. Oh, all right, that's got me, rolling my sleeves up. All right, I'll show you the best way to do this,
Turn right.
versus just following orders. And that's something that really doesn't make people feel great about themselves, doesn't make them feel empowered. And you certainly don't get a feeling of accomplishment from knowing that you look how well I did exactly as I was told. That's not, maybe like in the 1890s, right? If you were a serf or something, it felt good to be a wonderful serf. But I think in the modern era, with people being a lot more, I don't know, having more agency, as they say. Uh-oh. Did we get over far enough to not hook this gate? I think yes. In an era where people have more agency, I think the way to motivate them is to ask them to be their best selves. I know that's really corny, but it fits. All right, so I remember this yard because I pulled into it backwards, Yeah, I pulled into it backwards because I couldn't see the trigger, but if we look at it from above, the trigger is lined up the way that we're pulling into it. Yeah, that's a very Silicon Valley management style. This is what I need, this is when I need it, and this is how much money you've got to work with. See you in a month. Impress me. Where are we at? We're at 114 minutes. How are we doing? We got 6 people. That's, I mean, for this stream, that's a decent crowd. Let's keep it rolling. We'll get this dropped off. We'll swap trucks. I think swapping trucks may... Oh, no, there's nobody driving our little Mac 2 axle, so there won't be any delay to pick it up. So we'll pick it up. We'll take it to a garage, and we will... Maybe? There it is. I knew there was a trigger somewhere. Right. Parking lights on. Set the brake. Windows down. Let's hop outside and take a look at this ridiculous rig that we just hauled down. Now, I would say we didn't do too bad. We didn't hit too many things. We hit a post. And we got 1 speeding ticket. I think we did okay. For 500 miles with that thing on there. Are we late? Of course. Of course we are. How late are we? Only 2 hours, not too bad. We still made 40 grand and 2,000 XP. I'll take it. I will take it. Okay. So now we're going to hop in. Well, let's go back here. Let's dismiss our trailer. I don't think we have to do this. I think it dismisses automatically. But I like to, you know what I'm saying? Dot my I's. All right, so we're going to hop in this little 2-axle. We're going to drive it. And we want to take it somewhere in New Mexico. And then head north. So we want to, let me see. We want to go Albuquerque. So we'll fast travel there. Yeah, early in my working career, would have been early 20s. I had a person screaming at me, like a lunatic, like an insane person. They were absolutely screaming at me and saying, "We do it my way, even when my way is wrong." And I remember thinking, okay. I mean, if it's that important to you, then I guess we'll do it wrong. But I would think that the goal would be to like run a profitable business, and of course it's not. The goal is it's about ego. It's about, I don't know, something, but it's certainly not about being a good successful business owner. I've worked for a lot of people that you can tell the only reason they own a business is because they've been fired from so many jobs. They wanted one where they could never be fired, but they don't have any unique skill or passion. I've met people that really don't even care about the business that they're in. They just, you know, they just do it for the money. All right, there we go. So I think now, as soon as we release the parking brake, it's going to drop the air pressure again, and we're going to go right back into that loop. But we'll at least be able to move forward. All right. Yeah, 30 FPS right now. Not good. Not good at all. Lights off, windows down. Set the brake. Engine off. Let's get some sleep. Oh, we need fuel too. We desperately need fuel. Do we have... If we go... Not there. Well, I guess we can do it while we're here. Is Albuquerque... Albuquerque is big. So we've got fuel here. So we'll pull out and around. We'll fuel up. Yep. I have met people like that as well, Fried. You know, I joke about if I had employees. I don't have employees. I'm a one-person operation, but I joke about, you know, if I had employees, I would pay them what they needed to live, and I would, you know, treat them right, give them good equipment, and I would go out of business because my payroll and my expenses would be too high. And, you know, I'll cop to that. Good thing I don't have any employees. But I've known some people like that. I knew a contractor, a general contractor. We didn't work together. I didn't do projects for him, but I knew a general contractor that paid, I would say, 2 to 3x the going rate for everybody that he had on his crew. He paid his laborers enough that they could, like, make a living. And same thing, when we drop the brake here, we're going to lose pressure. But hopefully we'll get it straight back. But he was able to get the very best employees around. He didn't have to run ads. He didn't have to, like, look on Career Builder or ladders or anything. He got all his people by referral. And his thing was, you know, if you work for me and you do good work and you say you have a friend who can also do good work, I feel very comfortable hiring that person. So he was never looking for talent. He always had good people, and they were incredibly loyal to him. You know, he said I could call people, I could call my laborers, like the lowest people in my contracting company. I could call a laborer, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I need you to come to the job site. And they would say, okay, on my way. You know, because what he paid them allowed them to have a quality of life. It allowed them to, I don't know, focus on something more than survival. And he also had a 24-month waiting list for his contracting services. So his employees did amazing work. People were willing to pay for it, and the whole thing sort of spiraled up. I think it can work that way, but just paying your employees really well doesn't necessarily guarantee it. So I don't want to say he got lucky, but, you know, it when you see it work, you think, well, of course it works. But because it can work doesn't mean it always does work. And we want Albuquerque going north. Not quite that far. Those are all going to Washington. Wow. So just a basic 28-foot box trailer. Look at all the jobs we have access to. Washington, California, Idaho. We're looking for Colorado. Steamboat Springs. That's a little too far. Steamboat, Lamar. We want to go the other way. Fort Collins, other side. Getting closer though. Denver, Grand. That's what we're looking for. You'll take that one? 400 miles through Grand. Okay. And we've got 11 hours to pick it up. We just slept. Let's turn our highlights on. So we'll go right here. Turn these on. And if we pass a diesel shop, I always forget with this truck, if you're in the day cab, you don't have GPS. So as soon as possible, we need to go past a diesel shop and get a sat nav up on the dash. All right, so this is the other thing that comes with 1.40 is you can have 2-axle trucks in ATS now. And then we've got these little, just this little 28-foot set on. So very small, very utilitarian. All right, we ready? Brake is off. We got a full fuel tank. We just slept. I think we're good. Here we go. And we'll get that set up. There we go. And it's looking like we're getting a lot of sawtooth right now. I think everything is set to ultra or high. I mean, we're maxed out. The only thing that is a little bit backed off is SSAO. But I'm not super encouraged by the FPS drops I've seen at night with some of the lights on when we're in cities. So let's see if this holds as we continue to make our way into Colorado. I'm thinking as we go through Durango, we're going to see those same FPS problems. But we'll see when we get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the case, Ernie. I don't know what's causing that. Well, scenery, I guess. It's what's causing it is it's not optimized as well. I'm just not sure why it's worked out that way. You know, SCS seems like they're pretty solid about keeping everything consistent between the two. But there does seem to be, with these new DLC on the ATS side. And, I mean, I hear that they have 200 employees now, so I assumed that they were doing everything in-house, but there's a lot of subcontracting going on in the world, you know? So if there is a third-party studio or a third-party developer that can build some of these sceneries for them, who knows? Who knows what the QC is? All right through there. And I didn't even look. I saw we had 11 hours to pick this up. I'm confident we can be there in less than 11 hours. But I don't even know how far it is to pick up. Stay left. You got it. We'll see how it looks when we go through Durango. That was the biggest problem for me in the Colorado DLC, and I would say the Colorado DLC is the laggiest and the lowest FPS of the most recent DLC. If we're saying what, Idaho, Utah, and Colorado, I would say Colorado is the worst of the three, but all three of them are worse than like Oregon, Washington, New Mexico. And I don't know if it comes down to something as simple as the trees, or there just being a lot of trees. I know there's places in Oregon and Washington that have a lot of trees. Or from the opposite direction, if you make a DLC and it's got a ton of trees and those trees cause FPS drops, then thin out the trees. You know, it would seem like that would be a quick fix. Or dial back the res on the trees or something. But if the density of trees is causing the problem, then have less trees. What do I know?
Stay right, and then exit right.
Water just went out in the whole neighborhood.
Get ready to turn right.
Man, this little truck is so much more maneuverable than that 13-axle rig we were just driving.
Stay right, and then turn right.
Stay right and then turn right. I think we're going back to the same yard.
Turn right.
Yeah, I think we are. Yep, we definitely are. This is exactly the same yard. I don't know if they could ever have enough pickups and deliveries. I mean, they could have a pickup and a delivery on every corner. But at some point, I think it would start to look a little bit kind of unrealistically dense. You know, packed in there a little too tight. Then the other alternative would be to make the cities bigger. But again, I feel like at any given moment, this game is like perfectly balanced between having enough detail and getting out of hand and really not running well. Whoa, easy. As far as the maneuverability of the 2-axle versus 3-axle versus 4-axle, there they go. Only thing I don't like in this Mac is you really can't keep an eye on your trailer. The mirrors are just in a very bad place. And this is, whoa, almost hit the gate. This is with the mirrors fixed. They used to be even harder to see, but SCS relocated them a little bit. They look like they're in the right place when you see the vehicle from the outside, but then from the inside, they're slightly different. 20 grand, we're taking 47,000 pounds of grain, almost 48,000 pounds, to grand. Beautiful. So we'll take that job. Let's go pick up. If anybody ever makes a unified transport sim, I mean, I don't think there'd be any reason to, and I don't know if you could make all three of the components well enough, right? Because we have a basis of comparison. So truck sim, I would say truck sim, train sim, probably the easiest of the three to make. Yeah, I feel the same way. It was the first one I built. There we go. The Mac is the first one I built. I really do love this truck. So windows down. It's noon, so we don't need parking lights. Engine is off. Let's hop outside and take a look. Yeah. I really like the way that looks. It's that is just an absolute local delivery truck. Beautiful. So if you wanted to make a sim that is truck sim, train sim, and flight sim, right, but all freight. Parking brake off, windows up. Let's get out of here. I think the flight sim component would be the most difficult to make, and the truck sim, maybe the train sim component would be the easiest to make, but there'd really be no reason to make a unified freight transport sim with all three of those represented. Because it's very unlikely that you could make yours better than what's already available. So, unlikely that you could make a flight sim better than Microsoft Flight Simulator or Xsplit. Unlikely that you could make a truck sim better than ETS or ATS. Maybe you could make a train sim better than Train Sim World 2. But I guess what I'm looking for is, so we'll use Albuquerque as an example, that you would have access to cargoes going in and out of Albuquerque via truck, via train, and via air. All right. This is what I mean about the AI. We don't have beacons on right now, but it is still being very accommodating. I don't know. I don't trust it. Those things creep me out, by the way. The big air-powered waving thing. Yeah, I'm curious to see what this is. It RailSim 21? I don't know. It's got a bit of an unfortunate name. I think it's called RailSim 21. It's supposed to be out in Q3 of 2021. Who knows if it will even be released? It also says it's got 500 kilometer of track, and people immediately were like, "Hang on, let's just calm down for a minute. Are you talking about 500 kilometers of right-of-way, or are you talking about 500 kilometers of track?" Because there's a difference. If you've got a yard that's 1 kilometer long and it's got 50 parallel tracks, right? That's 50 miles by one measurement. So you try to sneak anything past us. And it's also, is it Playway? I want to say Playway is involved with it. And Playway is one of those publishers you got to kind of keep an eye on. It's like UIG. And then we're going left here. So we'll see if that becomes anything. I mean, I'm still on I wouldn't say a daily basis, but very often I am tempted to get Train Simulator, whatever it is now, Train Simulator 2021 at the moment, and just get Arosa and Bernina. Just get those two lines. That comes with like a dozen lines, a dozen routes, depending on what bundle you get. You get the American bundle, the UK bundle, the Swiss bundle, whatever. But I think I would just get Arosa and Bernina. The two problems are, the first one is the graphics. I don't know if the graphics would really do it for me because they are sort of 2006 standard. Really not very good compared to Train Sim World 2. But the functionality of the trains, the accuracy of them, the systems, apparently it's all represented a lot better in Train Simulator than it is in Train Sim World 2, because Train Simulator is, I want to say it's PC only. If it's not PC only, it's definitely sort of PC centric or PC focused. And then the other concern that I have is that once I played out Arosa and Bernina, that I would start getting DLC, and there'd be, you know, sky's the limit. Now, I will say, in my defense, as though I'm defending myself, I will say, after the way things went with X-Plane, I think I'm pretty cautious now about payware. Because the sorts of things that you get for Train Sim World, even if they're made by third party, even if they're made by third party, they still come to you through TSW. Whereas the Train Simulator franchise, I want to say there's a lot more. It's a bit of a free-for-all as far as the payware, mods and add-ons and DLC and that sort of thing. So I don't know. Aerosoft disappointed me with the Straw Harvest, and then I went ahead and bought Aerosoft Airports for X-Plane, and yeah, they were just as disappointing as the Straw Harvest was. So the fact that you're paying for something, I think, in no way guarantees any type of quality or, I mean, anything really. And that X-Plane store, their refund policy is, that alone is enough to make me really wonder about the quality of the mods. Right? Like, hey, if this sucks, will I be able to get my money back? Nope, absolutely not. There is no way you'll ever get a refund. And it's, you know, it's like warnings on a ladder. Every time you see a warning on a ladder, that represents a lost lawsuit, right? So I'm talking about like a painter's ladder that you get at Home Depot or whatever. It's got these warning stickers stuck all over it. Do not put this ladder in a pool. Do not set this ladder up on ice. Do not lean this ladder on electrical wires. Those all represent lost lawsuits. And you think, come on, man. Somebody really set a ladder up leaning on electrical wires? Yeah. Yeah, they did. So that's where those policies come from. Is that company, it in the past, it has cost them money, and so they have to make it very clear that this is not going to be a thing if you buy this. Right? If you buy this ladder and you set it up in a pool, you're not going to be able to sue us. So when I see an outfit like xplane.org say, no, absolutely no refunds, immediately, right, the alarm bells go off like, well, hang on now. How many people have tried to refund stuff? Oh, right. All of them. Interesting. So just that alone really makes me kind of cautious about quality of this stuff. And if I needed any confirmation of that fear, I bought some stuff and was disappointed by it. So who knows, man?
Stay left, then turn left.
Ernie, I agree with you. And the thing is, I hear nothing but good things about only. I don't want to go this way. I want to go this way. I hear nothing but good things about the Train Simulator franchise. I just can't get past the way it looks. And that's, you know, that's kind of a shame, because apparently that's the more realistic train sim experience that I'm looking for. Right? I'm looking for something that's got all the buttons and switches the way X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator does. And I'm told that that's it. And it's not 100%. They still kind of simplify some things. But I'm told that's the one to go with. So 344 miles. I need to, if we pass a diesel shop and I remember, we'll pull in to get a GPS, but in the meantime I do need to leave the mini map open. I hate to do that. I know it's kind of immersion killing, but I refunded it, but I wasn't angry. I just couldn't get past the way it looked. It does have a bit of a Minecraft feel to it, and it's really old. It's based on something. I guess Dovetail bought it from another developer, another publisher, that they licensed it to them. Whoa, I'm trying to like look in the mirror here. Whoa, easy. Let's get slowed down here. Yeah, they licensed it from somebody else, but if you lift the hood on it, it is apparently like iRacing. I mean, I think iRacing looks pretty good, but underneath it, it's just like the Papyrus version of some NASCAR game from 2009. Okay. I mean, we're in a 20-year-old engine right now. As long as you can keep it looking good, I guess keep it looking good. But you know, if ATS is based on ETS and ETS came out in 2012, then you're looking at a 2012 game, and Train Sim is, I want to say 2006 or 2003 or something. It's pretty long in the tooth. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me about the Train Simulator franchise is if I were to get it again, I know I'd be keeping it, and I also know I'd be buying 2 DLC right out of the gate. So I think that'd be, call it $100. I think I'd keep it regardless, and I need to, I mean, nothing's going to change about the game. They clean it up a little bit once a year, and they give it a new name, but I don't think they really make any significant changes. I don't think they can at this point. They're sort of limited by the code. So, not the code, like, it sounded like I was like the Mafia code or Bushido or something. I don't mean that code. I mean like the whatever the framework that the game is written in. I feel like they're limited in what they can do with it. And Dovetail is certainly not SCS, so it's not like Train Simulator 2022 is going to drop and it's going to have a whole new lighting engine and look tons better. I think it's pretty much frozen in time from here on out. So, I don't know. If I got it again, I think I would just need to make peace with the way it looks and enjoy it for what it is. But I think what I'll do is, let's wait till the end of the year. Let's see what that RailSim 2021 looks like, see if that's any good. And, I mean, there's always Lotus. There's always Zeusy. I think I would need to approach Zeusy the same way that I approach X-Plane, which is basically just doing the same trip over and over and over, having it go wrong every time, and just making one less mistake, learning one thing every time I do the trip, until I can somehow miraculously like make it end to end without any drama, and then continue to repeat that same trip and just refine it and make it better and better and better. But that's what I've had to do in X-Plane, and I find that's not really the case in TSW2. If anything, on the German routes, because the signage I think is a little broken, a little inconsistent, I feel like I'm just memorizing the route, right? And knowing, okay, I'll need to slow down here, I'll need to brake here. And if I'm braking for station stops, that's different because they're in the same place every route. But if I'm memorizing signals, right, because this signal is always red every time you come through here, then that's not really learning the route. That's just sort of, you know what I mean? It's like learning a bug in Madden. I'm not really beating the game. I'm just memorizing an exploit. So I think there's not a ton of variety. It's why you see the same traffic in the same place on TSW, and why some of the routes have hardly any traffic at all. I guess it's really hard to code that sort of random event on Unreal, or Dovetail just hasn't figured out a way to do it. But I'd like to see a little bit more unpredictability, where when you come over a hill, the signal could be green, it could be red, it could be anything, you know. Whereas now, if you're doing a service, you can memorize the lights because they'll be the same every time. And that's, I don't know, that's not fun. I don't find that to be fun. So Zusi, I think, gets away from that a little bit. I don't even know if Zusi has weather. I really don't. But it's definitely the most authentic train simulator experience I think you're going to get. Probably the driest as well. It's not great to look at, and it's got like DOS windows popping up, so it's definitely a nerd tool. And we'll see what happens with Lotus. I don't know if it's ever going to be done, and if it is done, I don't know what the quality is going to be like. I want it to be successful, because I really like the idea of driving trams, but it may or may not ever be anything. Yeah, Zusi, as far as I know, is a training tool. I don't know if it's like... So in flight, they have a Class D simulator? Class 4 simulator? Oh, something like that. That's the one that's like $3,500 an hour to use. They use it for emergency training for real pilots. So if that's like the highest level of flight simulator real training, I don't know where on the spectrum Zusi lands for train training. Like, I don't know if there's a Class 4 simulator for trains or an equivalent to a Class 4 simulator. And if there is, I don't know how Zusi compares to that. It could be Zusi is like, that's all you get. You don't need anything more than that to learn to operate a train. Unknown. But I'm told that is a real training tool. And we can we? A trading tool. What? Can we? No, we can't. All right. I mean, I got the detours turned down. Hang on. I need my bra button. We don't do dad jokes here. All right. Perfect. We're getting a red light here. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and plug in our detour now so we don't get looped around. You know what I'm saying? We don't get the run around. Where are we going? So we can just go right up here. Yep. All right.
Let's do this.
I agree. There's some jokes that you have to make, and that's one of them. I don't blame you for it. I understand. Frame rate is good right here. We're at 50 FPS, but it's really chuggy. It's really stuttery. I don't know if you're picking up on that. But it just seems to be kind of, I don't know, struggling. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, like, it's freezing and surging. Ugh. All right. We're not quite back in Colorado. We're getting ready to make the turn here. And we will be in Colorado, but I'm feeling it already. Oh, that is disappointing. I hope SES is aware of that and they're able to get a handle on it. Get slowed down a little bit here. There we are. All right, Ernie, I'm going to get us into, where are we going, Grand? Yeah, let's get up through Durango. And in fact, we're going on 2.5 hours. We may just go to Durango. If the FPS drops off, I may call it when we get to Durango. I try to go between 2 and 3 hours. We've definitely done 2. And if the quality is going south, there's no reason to, you know what I'm saying, prolong the suffering. So let's see how things are looking when we get to Durango. We may or may not continue, but we will find out momentarily. I mean, right through here we seem to be doing okay. See what happens when we make our turn up yonder. So what did we build so far? We've got a 389, a Volvo, we've got a 579, we've got 2 of the Mac. Yeah, I do as well, Fried. It is concerning to me, because they have to know, you know? And I know I've seen some things like, well, just turn the SSAO off. That'll fix your FPS. And I feel like that's kind of a slippery slope, because at some point it's like, oh, hey, I found a perfect FPS fix. I uninstalled the game. You know, when you're talking about things like disabling something that really makes the game look great, you know, I mean, I guess that's one way to fix it. But I do feel like it's right around the corner from, hey, I got another way to fix it, just don't play it. And that's, I think, not necessarily a place that a developer wants to be. You know, you always want to be looking for ways that you can fix the game on your end, talking about the developer. They can fix it so that the game continues to be playable. And this whole debate about, you know, if the FPS are low, just turn your settings down. And I get that that is a fix if you're on a low-end system, but I think some of the frustration is people that are on high-end systems are having those same problems, and it's like, well, you know, that is the point of having low settings, is if you've got a low-end system, you can still play the game. But why can I not play the game on high-end settings with a high-end system? So there's a disconnect. I think there can be a disconnect. And let's see if they fix these problems. And again, if you had a high-end rig and you had low FPS across the entire map, then that's one thing. But to have specific hotspots and to have those hotspots all be concentrated in the 3 most recent DLC, I think that points to a QC problem. That has less to do with the system you're playing on or what your settings are versus the quality of the optimization that's in these DLC. So it's not a deal breaker yet, but I think it could get there. You know, if they release Wyoming and it's the same way, then we've got what? New Mexico, Oregon, and Washington are solid. So 3 good. And then Idaho, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming are bad. So less than half of their DLC are what we would call good. And more than half have FPS problems. Below that stop sign. I think that's not a great ratio. You know, if it was just a single, like a one-off, right? Like this particular DLC, oh, you know, I hate driving there. The frame rate is terrible. The lag is awful. Whatever. If it was just one DLC, you know, that's unfortunate. But what can you do? But when you start getting into half the map has FPS problems, that's something that needs to be addressed. So hopefully SCS is aware of it and they do address it. Yeah, we're getting into the trees. We're going to get up here to, so let me see. We are now northeast of Farmington. We're going to be moving sort of due west, and then we'll make the turn just south of Durango. We'll make the turn north, go up through Durango, And that is, from what I remember, that is the worst part of Colorado when it comes to FPS. So we'll see how we look going through there. I think my biggest concern is it's not just the FPS that drops. The game gets really stuttery and rough as well. And I find that to be more distracting. Smooth 30 FPS is not ideal, but, you know, smooth is smooth. It's the, I don't know, the flickering. It sort of does it for me. But again, let me not get ahead of myself. Could be that we get there and there's no problem at all. And whatever it is they're doing with the physics of the trucks, I really do like that. I feel like the acceleration is a lot slower now. It may take, you know, 2 or 3 minutes to fully get up to speed. And I feel like that's a pretty accurate representation of how these trucks handle in real life. I was never a fan of the sort of go-kart acceleration. I prefer this. All right, let's get some lights turned on. Slow down just a little bit. Slow down a lot now. Get over there. Can't see around the mirror. Oh. Get over there. Yeah, a little bit rough right through there. Oh. Fingers crossed. And we are good on fuel. We are good on fuel. Okay. It's hard to describe. Every now and then we'll get one big sort of obvious freeze and then a surge. I feel like that's a tile loading. But then other times there are areas where for just a few minutes the game will just get really, really rough. Like right here. And again, it is it's going on 7 p.m. in game. I think this is when I don't know this, but my speculation is we got 2 lighting systems going at the same time. Wow, I'm really far over to the right there. I feel like we've got 2 lighting systems going on at once. We've got the sunlight coming in as one influence, you know what I mean? One sort of sphere of lighting, and then we've also got the truck lights on. I know you can't see the truck lights on pavement. I don't think you can see them on other trucks when the sun is still up. So really the only place you can see them is in the instrument panel. But then as the sun goes down completely, we will be able to see them, and that's when the FPS picks back up. So, all right, we'll just continue to monitor here. And again, yeah, this DLC has been out for a day, so I'm not down on it by any means. I mean, SCS would need to be, they would need to really screw up a lot consistently for many, many months before I gave up on them. They've got a nice a base built up. They got plenty of latitude. They got a grace period. I think they've treated their community really, really well for a long time. And so it would take, you know what I'm saying? It would take quite a bit for people to walk away from them. And I continue to be amazed that this content, this improvement is essentially free. If you already own the game, the update comes in for free. And if you don't own the game and you want to experience all this, it'll cost you a total of $5 right now. They sell this game for $5 on sale all the time. And now the DLC, I think there is a bundle maybe for some DLC. And I don't know if other than that the DLC, I can't say if they're on sale right now, but I know they do go on sale. But you can get the entire game. And there's a lot of like 99-cent paint job DLCs. I don't really consider those to be part of the game. But you can get base game, which includes all the trucks. You don't have to pay for any trucks. And all the DLC, you can get that stuff on sale for 50% off. Yeah, it's the wheels are coming off here. Frame rate is dropping. The game is getting more and more stuttery, and it's happening exactly where it's happened every other time I've come through this area, which is just south of Durango. All right, well, we'll continue to monitor and see how rough it gets as we get closer to the parts of the map that have the most dense trees. But yeah, this is still requiring quite a bit of optimism. Optimism. This when I start doing that multiple times, I know it's time to end the stream. Requires quite a bit of optimization. That's the word I was looking for. Sound it out. Yeah, I would agree, Fried. I think it is definitely the trees. And I mean, I can see the FPS drops. Other people can see the FPS drops. Surely the people from Giants play the game. They can see the FPS drops. We know where it happens. And I think the difference is that SCS has the option of booting up another version of the game, this exact same map right here with all the trees pulled out. And if your FPS is good, if there's no FPS drop, then you know definitively, yeah, it's the trees. So I don't have any doubt that it's the trees. But SCS is they're the people that can confirm that using science. Yeah, we're at 30 right now. No doubt. Yeah, let's just call it. How long have we gone? 2 hours, 40 minutes? Yeah, let's get pulled over. There's a grocery store up here. Let's get pulled over. There's a fuel stop. This truck has a pretty small fuel tank. Oh, red light. It's got a pretty small fuel tank, so let's pull over in this fuel stop. I'm not going to fuel up. We'll just call it right there. And then I'll go ahead and finish off camera. But yeah, I mean, nothing but pleased with the DLC. Not the DLC, the patch. Nothing but pleased with the patch. The lighting is amazing. It looks fantastic. And on the ETS side, where there are really no FPS problems, absolutely nothing to complain about. Really liking the new trucks, liking the new axle options. I just feel like at the moment, I really don't ever want to drive in Colorado or Idaho because of what happens with the performance. And this is with SSAO on medium. Now, I'm told if you turn it off, it improves things even more, as it should. SSAO is pretty demanding. But 1660 Ti, it's a mid-tier card. It's an economy card. I wouldn't argue that. But I would think the fact that the rest of the game, oh yeah, look at this surging through here. I don't know if you're picking up on that, but the game like essentially slows down and then it kind of speeds up and catches up with itself. It's really, really distracting and really immersion killing. So my 1660 Ti can play the game at 60 FPS and above, day and night, rain, no rain, on virtually all parts of the map except Idaho and Colorado. So that tells me it's not strictly my card, that the optimization of these DLC may play a role. Yeah, I agree, Fried. I mean, if it was me, and it could be that this is not possible. Yeah, this is turning into a slideshow here. We got to get pulled over. We got to turn this off. I feel terrible right now. I would think that what they would need to do is go in and replace individual trees with flat two-dimensional, essentially pictures of groups of trees. So in the far distance there, those don't need to all be individual trees. I mean, honestly, I don't know if they are or not. But I would think that would be one way to fix it, would be to just eliminate some of those individual trees. All right, I'm not going to fuel up here. Let's just get pulled up a little bit. We'll call it. We'll come back tomorrow and do, we'll be back on Shellington tomorrow. And then Sunday, we'll do X-Plane, and we're going to fly from Brussels to Vienna. It's a fantastic leg, and I'm learning more and more about ADF and VOR, all kinds of fun ways to navigate. So there you have it. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. See you on Shellington, 1 p.m. Take care. Good night.